were not forgotten anyway, because at least not by God. Remember, we had a terrible war, which is known in the books of history like the War of Paraguay, and it was a annihilation war, probably the worst of all history, because at the beginning of the war we had an estimated of 800, 900,000 people, and at the end of the war we had only 28,000 men, most of them severely maimed, most of them severely wounded, and the rest, 200,000, were women, elderly, and very young boys and ladies. So, despite that, Paraguay is working. And you know what? I don't think that is to be forgotten. And since that, family was destroyed, and family as a concept was destroyed. And that was probably the origin of many of our problems, because there were no leadership, there were no examples to be taken, there were no an image of father, there was no an image of what is the nucleus of the society, which is the family. So misfortune, no way. I think what we had is a tremendous attack, and we still survived. Unlike most of the countries of the world, Paraguay's land is totally arable and fertile. Probably 95% of the land in Paraguay are arable and fertile, which is something spectacular for a country, considering the size of Paraguay. And it is not required, for example, in any part of Paraguay, it's required to raise farming, which is something common in other places. And the lowest point in Paraguay is about 50 meters, and the highest point is probably 800 meters, so we don't need that. And experts confirm, besides, that in Paraguay, the excellent soil conditions, all the nutrients we have, and plus the excellent climatic conditions we have. This is the reunion of many factors. For example, daylight plus night rhythm. This is due to the latitude we are in, and also the amount of temperature, the range of temperature that we have, the amount of humidity in the air, moisture, and all the conditions for plants growing unite in Paraguay in such a way that it's difficult to find any other place like this. And they say, and we should laugh about that in Paraguay, if we don't have good wines, it's just because the grapes that we have are so sweet, not because they are not good enough. fortune? I don't think so. Not even close. I tell you what, Paraguay is a country with abundant fresh water. And recall that only 3% of the water of the world is fresh. The rest is salty. And you see that 3%? The 3% that we're talking about, 80% of that is in South America. And the rest of the world, this is 190 countries more or less, they have to use the 20% remaining for living, working, planning the future. And here in South America, these 10, 12 countries that we have, well, we have the 80% of the water of the world, the water that we can use for living. Okay, why is that important? Well, it's very important because the future of the planet, this is the energy future of the planet, depends upon the use of hydrogen instead of petroleum for energy. So hydrogen is in the water. Okay, where? In the fresh water. Why not the salty water? Because it's so salty and it's so expensive to take the salt out of the ocean's water. Okay, so I think the equation on behalf of Paraguay is so clear. Okay, and recall that Paraguay has more than 800 rivers and streams. 20 of them are big rivers, and 2 of them are among the biggest rivers of the world. So besides, we have the aquifer, the Guarani aquifer. So I think we are not a country with that land, if exists that land. Okay, so I think it's clear. Paraguay produces 10 times more energy than is required, and something that is very uncommon. And why is that? Because of the conditions we have in the country, and we also export food by billions of dollars, including the best beef of the world, according to a friend who was recently in New Zealand. There, they really appreciate the meat of Paraguay, and the most expensive one, right? And also, talking of which, by the way, expensive, we have the biggest reservoir of titanium of the world, which is a very prized metal, not only because of it's hard, but because it's also light. So imagine having something that is so hard and so light at the same time. You know what? And it's natural. It's not like carbon fiber, which is not natural. And so it's essential for the aircraft industry and the manufacturing of parts industry. And so in the following years, just like the OPEC regulated the oil prices, Paraguay will rule. Paraguay will have the control over the prices of titanium. You know what? This land is very special, and we have to be aware of that. And I think this is not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, number one. And remember what Einstein said once, God doesn't play dice. And I think there is a purpose for this. And I think we have to look desperately, we have to seek desperately for the purpose, those plans that God has with respect to us. And we have to stop doing what we were doing in the past, which is cursing our own country in a supreme act of arrogance and pride, like Cecilia Valls did, for example, by saying that Paraguay is a country of Cretans with no glory. Oh my God. You know what? Instead, I think that we are dwelling in the very heart of the Creator of the universe. Paraguay, your time has arrived. Wake up.